I don't see them making a change, but who knows? I mean, the fact is, if you look at where this offense is now, I mean, they're 25th overall. This is going into the game. They're 25th overall. They're 29th on third down. They're 25th on average yards per rush. They're 26th on average yardage on first down snaps. I mean, the offense is just not good. And to me, it's partly coaching. I mean, you can't separate that from the equation. But to me, it really all roads kind of lead back to the offensive line to me. I mean, this is a team that is built and designed to run the football. And last year they were able to do it, and they won a Super Bowl because the offensive line was the best in football and totally controlled the game. And this year the offensive line has not been good. And you can point to all different things, and clearly it's injuries. And I heard the one caller say they've been hurt from the beginning, and that's true. I mean, yeah, and that's not their fault, but that's just the reality of it. But they're continuing to run the same basic style of offense because they feel like that's the foundation of what they do, and they just can't do it with this offensive line. And normally, if you had a healthy offensive line, you get up 21-0, the game's over because you're just going to run the ball, you're going to bleed the clock, and that's going to control it. I mean, you got 21-0, but you had no control of the game once the Cowboys started moving because you couldn't run the ball. And I mean, you don't want to boil a game like yesterday down to one play or one call. But I mean, I looked at the Eagles' last possession there. I mean, they get the ball with time to go. I mean, it's a tie game, and they've got the ball, and they get to a 3rd and 2. At their own 37, and they have Jalen drop straight back and take and I know he hadn't been sacked the whole game, but he'd been under pressure pretty much the whole game, and they have him drop straight back. He takes a 13-yard sack, and now you're punting, and you give the ball back to a hot Cowboys offense, and you lose the game. 3rd and 2, why are you doing that? That's who sent that play in? Who thought that was a good idea? I mean, and the thing is, I mean, you could fault Hurts if you look at it because he's clearly staring down AJ. And he's got Goddard open in the middle of the field for the conversion. I mean, that's one whole issue. But the idea, but what I'm thinking of is even before that, before it ever gets to that, why are you throwing it there? And why don't you run it there? I mean, I know they haven't been running the ball well at all, and I know Barkley's averaging 2 yards a carry. But okay, if you run it and you get stopped, I mean, you can still if they get you a yard, then you can push the next one. But I mean, I thought that call to me just seemed so odd and told you everything you need to know about the difference of where this team is now versus where this team was a year ago. I mean, and that team of a year ago wouldn't even dream of throwing the ball in that situation. But you did here, and it wound up closing the door on you.
How likely is a change made at play caller, Ray?
I think unlikely. I mean, if it... I think in part it maybe sends a bad message to the team. It begins to look like the coaches are panicking. I think there's probably some consulting about that. But I just think that right now there's a lot of things that they want to do that they can't do successfully because they're not winning the battle up front. I mean, if you watch the tape back again, there's not a single guy on that offensive line that's playing as well as he played a year ago, and that was including Lane when Lane was on the field. And in most cases, it's the guys are playing through injuries, which is unavoidable, and and they're trying their best, but they're just not what they were, and they're trying to be, but they're just not. And it's sort of undermining everything else they're trying to do. And you look at if you look at the offensive breakdowns across the board statistically, almost every category, they're 23rd, they're 25th, they're 26th, they're 27th. And here we are on Thanksgiving week. So at this point, it's not an illusion. This is what you are, okay? And from week to week, they're going to have to try and figure it out. Now, they're going to go to the playoffs, and they're going to win the division. But the real question is, and the only question anybody's been asking all year is, okay, we're going to get to the playoffs. What are we going to – are we equipped to win when we get to the playoffs? And based on what you saw yesterday, you'd probably say no.
How do we get to this – how do we get those numbers, Ray? Those 25s and 26s in the rankings in the NFL when I believe that the players that Howie Roseman has assembled here are the best. Like the preeminent roster or one of the top 3 roster teams, if you will, in the NFL. So why are our numbers in the high 20s?
Because that's where your offensive line is right now, John. They're not this is not the offensive line of last year. It may be the same guys, but it's not. But they're not playing the same way. They're not. Last year they could pretty much do whatever they wanted to do because they utterly dominated the offensive line. They obviously dominated the line of scrimmage. I mean, they won the battle at the point of attack, and everything else flowed through that. And that's not the case right now. I mean, Mailata has not played as well. Landon Dickerson, who was driving people off the ball last year, is getting stalemated, and in some cases pushed back. Juergens
and a liability at times in pass protection.
Yeah, I mean, you see it, and you never saw that last year. And Juergens, look, I think he's still trying to come back from the back surgery, and he's been, there are blocks that he can't make now. You can see that he's trying to make them, and he's been asked to make them, and he's not able to make them right now. And Lane has been, in and out of the lineup, and even when he's been in there, he's been playing through some different things. And again, none of it is their fault. I mean, they're trying, and they're out there, and they're trying to do what they can do, but. Yeah. They're being asked to do what they did last year, and right now they're just not up to the task.
So, Ray, let's get to... So the Eagles play the Bears on Friday. Game's in 4 days. And, Ray, I think they face two interesting personnel decisions. I want to get your opinion of what they should do. The first is outside corner. So Adoree Jackson with the concussion, I doubt he's going to play on Friday. And we saw Cooper DeJean struggle outside. Mm-hmm. Cooper DeJean outside, Keely Ringo outside, Jacorian Bennett, if he's physically able to play outside. Who?
Oh, I don't know that there's a good answer there. I think that DeJean, people have been calling for DeJean to play out there for weeks now, and I think you saw yesterday.
Yep.
Now those are tough matchups. I mean, George Pickens is. I mean, he's not your average receiver. So that was you're asking him to do that his first time playing out there on an every snap basis. That was probably a little unfair. But his best position is clearly in the slot. So I would not put him out there. Bennett hasn't played really all year, so I don't know that that's really an option. Jackson, you're right. I don't think he's going to clear by Friday. So
Keely Ringo then, right?
I think you're going Ringo. Yeah. I think
Brutal.
you're going Ringo.
Brutal. All right, here's the next one, Ray. Punt returner. I'm going to give you 4 choices. Let's just say Gibson's physically able to play. I don't know if with his injury he will be, but let's just say Gibson clears and can play. You got Gibson, you got Covey from the practice squad, you got Cooper DeJean, who's one of your best defenders and was phenomenal as a punt returner last year, or somebody else on your roster. Who's your punt returner? Are you considering back to Cooper DeJean?
No.
Me neither.
He's too valuable, and after yesterday, he's got other stuff to worry about. I don't. This is not the week to put something else on his plate, unless you do this, unless you put him back there and say, "Look,
fair catch it."
Just fair catch it.
I like that.
Don't even think.
Safe.
Think about trying to return it. Just fair catch the ball and turn it over to the offense.
I like that.
That you could do. That you could do. And you know what? Maybe that is your better option because after yesterday, I mean, the Gibson thing is. I have to really think hard to think of a dumber play than that. I mean, you're inside the 10-yard line. Any punt returner that's returned a punt anywhere above high school knows that you don't back up to catch a ball inside the 10-yard line,
let alone inside the 3. It's called the 2.
Yeah, 2.
Unbelievable. When I saw him setting up to catch that punt, I couldn't believe it. And then he compounds it by turning the ball over. Now you get out of it because your defense bails you out, but that's a situation that's just you can't live with that kind of mistake. You just can't.
Yeah. All right, Ray. 2 final things. Why do you think Gainwell in the last couple years would get what I'll call 4 to 8 touches per game as the backup running back, and this Bigsby guy who looks phenomenal gets 1 or 2 per game? Why?
Well, I don't know. I guess that the feeling is coming off the year of last year that Barkley is, if they're going to run the ball, they're going to run it with the 2,000-yard back, and that's probably it. Now, Bigsby has. Once they got, he got off to a really rough start with the special teams returns. But, since they put him in running the ball from scrimmage, he looks really good. He hits it hard. He's a north-south guy, and he's averaging about 8-9 yards a carry. But, I just think it kind of gets back to what you planned your offense to be. You set your offense up, and your offensive philosophy was built around 2 thoughts. One was our offensive line is the best in football and is always going to control the line of scrimmage, and that Saquon's the best running back in the league and he's going to get the ball. And so far, 11 games into the season, the offensive line hasn't been nearly what you hoped it was going to be, and Barkley hasn't been anywhere close to the runner that he was a year ago. But you're still you're still playing out of the same playbook, but the players are different than they were a year ago.
Is the Cooper DeJean on the outside thing an experiment that is now over, and it's confirmed that we're going to leave him on the inside because that's where he's most comfortable, Ray?
Yeah, I think that was, Vic's been asked that a couple of times, and he's been pretty adamant about that. He said, we got a kid here who playing in the slot is the best in the league at doing what he's doing. I don't want to change that. And he never would have if he hadn't had the injury yesterday. That sort of forced them. I mean, they got so many guys get hurt in the secondary, he had to move a lot of people around and put them in places he would have rather not. But, I mean, Vic has been brought up so many times in press conferences, and Vic's been pretty solid. No, this is what this kid is. He's really good at doing it. We're happy with him there. That's where he's going to stay, I believe.
So we saw it with Avonte Maddox years ago. He was flat out better in the slot than outside.
By far.
There's no question. All right, Ray, go ahead, John.
So Ray, you are not as worried then. I'm just trying to read into this a little bit. You are not as worried yesterday by the fact that our defense looked like it couldn't stop a good passing offense with the game on the line because our secondary was just not even a shadow of its ordinary self with all of the injuries that were just everywhere?
No, I that's probably oversimplifying it a little bit. I think that what happened yesterday was an accumulation of a lot of things. I mean, it probably would be a mistake to just try and isolate it and say it was this area or it was that area. I mean, everything kind of fed into everything, and you wound up with what you wound up with. But I think that, the offense, the offense gets you the big lead, and the defense played well early. But I think what happened was when the offense just stalled, and they went, 5 or 6 possessions without being able to get a first down, much less a score. All of a sudden, the defense had to get stop after stop after stop, and the Dallas Cowboys are, they were the highest scoring team in the league. I mean, they're number one pass offense for sure.
Yeah.
So I mean,
pretty prolific.
You can't. At some point, you knew they were going to start moving the ball, and you asked your defense to do it. You put your defense in that position way too often. 21-0 lead, it never should have come to that, but it did, and then you wind up with a loss that never should have happened.
You know what also shouldn't have happened, Ray? The frickin' timeout by Sirianni with 45 seconds left was stupid.
Oh, I know. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that happened there that I keep going back to that 3rd and 2. I mean, why you call that play? I mean, you can talk about Hurts staring down Brown and not looking at Goddard. I mean, that was on him. But the idea of even just calling that play there in 3rd and 2, when you still have the ball in a tie game with enough time to go down and kick the field goal to win the game, why you did that and put him in a position where he takes the 13-yard sack and basically closes out the game. That was, that's the kind of thing that I'm just scratching. I still scratching my head about why they called that play.